Welcome back to another issue of Hops Geek News, a podcast that we talk about TV, comic books, movies, beer. Sometimes we're right about things we talk about, sometimes we're wrong. And you can find
We're
us
never
where
afraid
you
to
get
admit
your
it.
podcast. No, you can find us anywhere you get podcasts. Search Hops News and subscribe to our OnlyFans, Hops Feet News. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. We don't have one. But I am Mash, and alongside me
Yet.
awkwardly is the Hoppy Mommy. How you doing?
Cheers, y'all. So I'm doing pretty good tonight. I'm ready to knock out a little bit of news we
Yeah,
got.
we're
Do what we got to
talking
do.
some pretty gangsta shit tonight. And as far as this, we're calling this one Woodland Empire Volume 2 because our main attraction, if you will, is we're talking to Robin Keeley from Woodland Empire Brewery in Boise, Idaho. And before that, we're going to talk a little news. We have some WandaVision to talk about at the end. And
Because
with that,
nobody's talking about that but us.
nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. You've heard the same podcast 90 times. We
Hell, I've listened to it.
I've listened to it as well, but you can't get enough sometimes. And so come here, come one, come all. And without further ado, not everything we say is facts. We understand that. We're not the smartest at times. And so we'd like to call this segment the We're Not Experts. And what were we not experts about last week? Is there some things each week we kind of go back and we're like, oh, we are wrong there. So if there's ever something you find that we were wrong, please let us know because I'm dumb.
Yes.
And
So my cousin was actually saying, she's like, yeah, I listened to one of the episodes and I kept wanting to say this. I'm like, what did you want to say? We want that feedback. Let us know. We'll give you a
tell
virtual toast.
me.
I don't, and she couldn't remember what it was. It was the Harry Potter episode, but yeah, but that one I was sloshed on. So it's also, I feel like, kind of become that I'll look into that next week. So, as an attorney, an answer to almost everything is it depends. I'll look into that. So this is going to become our We're Not Experts, and it depends. I'll look into that segment.
Oh.
So last week we were talking about Jason Segel and the Muppets, and I had heard a rumor that he bought Jim Henson's house. I could not find anything confirming that,
You
but he
lied.
does have a lot of Muppet paraphernalia, which he bought from Jim Henson's daughter, Lisa. And, he did co-write the scripts for the Muppet movies. And he has said, quote, I'm lucky because it's my job. But for a while, I was the unemployed 6'4" weirdo who just had the Muppet paraphernalia everywhere. I mean, it was weird. I
I
acknowledge
feel
it.
that.
End quote.
I feel you, man. I've been told that I remind people of Jason Segal, and I feel him. Don't be
It's
weird.
got to be Seagull.
I
Seagull's
don't
a
remember
totally different.
Steven Seagal. Thank you very much. He's the
Yeah.
greatest actor of our time. He's
Steven
also
Seagal.
God. He's the worst actor of our time.
All
Maybe
right.
not the
So
worst, but he's awful.
I guess we'll wait to talk about what we're
What
drinking
do you?
right before Woodland Empire
Well,
because we skipped
no,
that.
I
Oh.
am drinking a Lil Fizzy from our guest tonight,
Oh.
Woodland Empire. I cracked this bad boy open. It is a beer rosé. It's got beer brewed with
Fancy.
cherries, pomegranate, and guava. And it's I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it because the on
It's kind
YouTube
of
or
going
not.
in and out. You're gonna have to post a
Yeah,
picture of
it's
that
all
one.
good. I'll post a picture. It's reminds me of Pokemon for some reason, but maybe somebody else will see it. It's really good. And we drink another beer. We're talking with Woodland Empire, like we said, and we're drinking another beer, the same beer together. And
Well, I did just finish up Turn Up the Beats from Woodland Empire on Hops News tonight on our live show.
turn it up.
Because for those of you who don't know, we are under the Hops News umbrella.
We are.
And then we have this as our own little side project. So I guess we'll wait for our other beer right before we do that.
Well,
So
also fun fact,
I
because
love
if you
fun
ever have
facts.
Woodland Empire on Tavor or you join our Patreon where you can get some really great beers. I'm not going to tell you how. You just got to figure it out for yourself. That said, these beers that I keep going on and out on because I'm sitting in Woodland Empire's brewery. I took this picture. It is my picture that I took of their brewery. Nobody's.
Everyone who's listening on a podcast is like, what the frick are they talking about?
Yeah, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
He's
We
got a
also
green
are on
screen,
YouTube.
guys.
I got
He's
a
got a
green
green
screen. I'm
screen.
sitting at Woodland Empire, and we're gonna crack open. But their beers, their mixtape IPA series, or their mixtape series, you can scan the code on their can, and it pulls up Spotify playlist, which you can learn all about in one of our previous episodes where we sat down with them. Because, like I said, this is volume 2. So, with that said, we have some news tonight.
Wait.
Going to get you some news. No, we're not. What happened? What did I forget?
What have you read or watched this
Oh
week?
my gosh, what have I read or
You're really
watched this
jumping
week?
the gun.
You're right. I took a nap today and I
You're
feel
like just skipping things. You have all
energized.
this
I
energy.
never
It's like
take
you
a
did a
nap.
line of coke.
I never take naps. I don't. I have been sleeping poorly. So I took a nap and I feel pretty energized. I worked out, or jazzercised. I'm feeling great.
You worked out.
Yeah.
All right. So what did you watch or read this week?
I watched Bruise Brothers, which is an awful TV show on Netflix about two brothers who
It
own
is
a
pretty
brewery.
awful.
It was fucking bad, man. It was
But
I finished the
if
season because I
you
had to, but it was so fucking bad.
but if you're into beer, it's worth it for those moments where they mention beer things. The raunch is a little too much. It almost seemed like they were pushing it sometimes.
It's not even necessarily the raunchiness, it's just bad. I don't know how to
It
put
is
it.
pretty bad.
It
But
wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it,
there's
but
a
maybe
few
somebody
laugh aloud
does.
moments,
Mm.
and there's a few beer geek kind of things that
I
only
feel
some
like
people would get.
I feel like they tried too hard with the girl, like her character. I feel like she was overacting at parts. And
She's the one you thought was overacting, not the monk.
well, the monk, yeah, he's in other stuff. I forget. And then one of the main characters is actually the cop in Orange is the New Black. That's where I
Yeah, he
recognized him
is
from.
the guy that
So
like killed
yeah, yeah,
Kasey.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's not a good show. Not a good show. I'll leave it at that.
It's
I
terrible, but I still recommend it.
just
It was
watch it.
disappointing though because it's the writers of the league, and anybody who hasn't seen
The
the
league's
league is
funny.
absolutely fantastic.
This
It's
was not.
almost like Seinfeld, but raunchier and based on fantasy football is the league.
It gets
So
more and
it's
more away from fantasy football the more the seasons go on, unfortunately.
yeah,
But
but they
it's a
still
good show.
mention it.
Yeah,
And you
it's a
can
good
always
show
tell, even if you don't know sports, you can always tell when there's a professional athlete on the
because they're
show because they
90
can't act for
times
shit.
and they're 90 times bigger than the rest of the actors who are
Yeah, but
just
the acting
regular
is just
human
terrible.
beings.
It's like other than
Yeah.
like Kobe and like what Marino's not a terrible actor, but like 99% of
Dan Marino
athletes.
acted in probably the greatest movie, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Okay, he got his
What the hell
acting
do you think
chops
I was referencing
a
when I said
long
that?
time ago.
Laces out,
I just
Dan.
watched that last night, actually. So
That's a
I'll
damn
throw
good
that on there.
movie.
I watched Ace Ventura, and then I watched this other movie. It's called Love and Monsters. Highly recommend this one. It was my brother put it on this shared like hey movie list that we watch. Like hey, I was watching this movie, and so my wife actually put it on. We went in with no expectation, and the plot is it takes place in a post-apoc. I can't say it. Guess
Post
what? The
apocalyptic.
fucking world ended. Okay, and so now people are living in colonies underground, and this guy got
Demolition Man?
separated from his girlfriend past, and so he goes on an adventure to find her, and that's kind of what it's about. And there's like these creatures that something happened that turned like the regular bugs, frogs, animals into these giant creatures. So that's why it's so dangerous out and they had to go underground. And it's a really good movie. It's really lighthearted. The plot was decent. It's got Merle from oh my
Walking
god.
Dead.
Yeah, I can't remember his actual name all of a sudden, but he played Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. So he's in it and it's a good movie. Highly recommend it. I'm not
Do you know what
totally
else he was in? He was in Mallrats.
he ate the chocolate. The
He's
oh,
the
is that
dad,
chocolate
the
covered pretzels?
angry
That chocolate covered
Michael
pretzels?
Rooker.
Michael Rooker, yes. I don't know how I forgot his name. He's in like everything, but he
But yeah,
pops
he's the
up in this
angry dad
movie.
in that movie. I didn't realize how old he was until I realized that that
Yeah,
was
he's been
the
around.
same person.
He's been around, and he's in this
Yeah.
movie great as always. He's great as always, and this movie's really good.
He's Mary Poppins.
He is. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I watched Batman, or I didn't watch. I read Batman and Catwoman. Pretty good comic book about. It's like a 12 issue comic series. They're on issue 2 right now. It just came out. It's about. It takes place in the future. Batman and Catwoman were married, and I'll kind of leave it at that. And then a lot of mental self help books because I don't know how to get off the ledge after the Green Bay Packers lost against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm pretty sad. And I've been reading a lot of self help books. Not really. I just wallow in self pity, but that's
He
kind of
just
it.
buys them and then cries on them.
I have been reading a
Dries his
homebrew
eyes with
book.
the pages.
My wife has gotten me a Marvel and a homebrew book, not
Wait,
synonymous with each
what?
other. Like one's a Marvel book about the characters and like all this stuff.
Oh, I was like, what
And
is this magical
yeah,
homebrew
no, no,
Marvel
no,
book?
no. And then there's a homebrew book. So I brewed my own beer for the first time, It's carbonating right now. It'll be ready Saturday. So next episode, I'll let you know if it tastes like shit or not. Spoiler, it's probably gonna taste like shit,
I'm very
but
curious.
we'll see. And I'm gonna go from there. I want to start brewing more beer, getting into it. And I got this book on like all how to do all that kind of stuff. So I've been kind of reading that. And outside of that, I'm in college full time because I'm 30 years old. I'm like Billy fucking Madison. I'm in this class. It's all about user design, and I had to do this weekly Zoom meeting. I get in the Zoom meeting. First of all, I'm the only dude. Okay, that's fine. But I'm literally 10 to 15 years older than these, not 15, because I'm only 30. But like all the girls in this class are like 18 years old. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? I feel like the most ancient man on earth. It was so uncomfortable and weird. And now we're in like this group designing a brochure or something like that for people that it's going to go like out into the world. Like we're designing real world shit in this class, and it's going to go out for people who are coming to Boise and they don't know what to do. So it's basically like one of those travel guides. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing. And I feel like I'm going to have totally different things than them because I'm a fucking grandpa. And it was just awkward. It was so weird, but at least I graduate in a couple months. Finally, I got a
What were they
degree.
recommending you do in Boise, Idaho?
Nothing yet. We haven't gotten there yet. We just introduced
Ah.
ourselves to each other and kind of like what are our strengths? Where are our work schedules like and that kind of stuff. And so it hasn't gotten to that point, but I'll keep you updated. Some updates on the
I'm
adventures of the
very
old man that's stuck in college like Billy Madison.
back to school.
Yeah. But what
You
have
just
you
got to
been
prove to
reading? What are
daddy
you up
you're
to?
not a fool. So I was anticipating. So J.J. Abrams did a Spider-Man series.
Oh God, have you been
It's
let down by JJ Abrams enough?
no, no, yeah, right, no. So it started last year, and I had a couple recommendations from people that like, oh, you should check this out. It's really good. So I picked up like the first few issues, and then COVID hit, and this thing went like dormant, and it was already not consistently released every month.
Well, JJ
And then
Abrams can't finish anything
finally,
anyways.
he finally finished it though. I think it's only like 6 books or something, six
That's
comic
very
books. So I
long.
was gonna reread the old ones and finish the series because it should not take me more than an hour to read all of them. But instead, I just watched Supernatural.
Oh my God, give it a rest.
So never. And then I watched WandaVision. That's it. So I literally don't know what I'm doing with my life. Oh, but I did watch and I sent it to you. What it,
You
I can't.
did.
Okay, so there's something out there. I should do a link to it. I forget what the guy's name is. Emergency something. And there's a new kind of trailer for season 3 of The Boys that is quite hilarious. All the characters are wearing shirts with their names on them, and they're talking about like season 3. And then at the end, Jensen Ackles shows up, and he's Soldier Boy, and he's talking like
He did it
Soldier
really
Boy.
well. I liked his voice. I gotta say, it was
Yeah, he did amazing. So it just made me more excited to see him as Soldier Boy. But if you happen to watch or listen to our last episode with Brad from Common Law,
ooh.
definitely take a vote on those beers. So you can DM us on the
Let
Instagram,
us
you can
know,
comment on an Instagram
please.
post,
It's
or
getting
even comment
brewed.
on this YouTube
Yeah,
video.
it's actually getting
Um,
brewed. This beer will be brewed.
yes. And I don't want to go into too many details because Brad breaks down everything in the video, but it's basically an Aquaman, Goza, a Flash Red Ale, a Daredevil Hazy IPA, a Scarlet Witch Brute IPA, and a Wolverine Barrel Aged
I'm
Japanese Lager.
Wolverine. Have you ever watched those
So
YouTube
I
videos?
am
There's like these YouTube
Wolverine.
videos where it's like voiceovers, and one of them is like, I'm Wolverine. I can't remember. I
Well,
think
did
this
you
is
see
like
when
the
Hugh
voice.
Jackman hosted some award show and he did like a little song and dance at the beginning and he ended it singing, I am Wolverine?
I don't watch award shows.
I don't either, but multiple
Ah,
people
yeah,
sent
you
me that
do.
clip.
Uh-huh. Multiple
I
people.
don't.
Oh, yeah. All right. I
I
see.
don't like award shows. I don't understand the point.
I don't either. They're fucking dumb. Oh, real quick. Speaking of fucking dumb, I really want to pimp my idea for that comic book because I want
I
somebody who
don't think
can
it's
draw.
dumb.
I have talked about it. We did it on Hops News. My comic book idea is that I was kind of going back and forth, and I thought maybe it'd be kind of a good idea if it's like us two. We're podcasters, we're fucking nobodies, right? But we find out that the beers that we drink give us superpowers, and this cause, and somehow there's like there's a
It's like compound
protagonist.
B. We just
Yeah, exactly. And
drink a
so
beer
we
and then
find
we
this
have a
out, and
power.
we kind of live in like a world where there's like some supernatural kind of shit going on, and there's like
Supernatural.
other bad guys to have like superpowers, things like that. And the ultimate
We have to fight Budweiser.
well, I was gonna say there's like the ultimate bad guy in maybe this one off or whatever is he's on the search to find this beer. I haven't thought of the style or the kind of beer yet, but it gives you permanently godlike powers. Like you have the power of God, essentially, this beer. And so we kind of have to stop him. And I don't know if this is a good sales pitch or not, but I can gladly write. I like to write. I just can't draw. So if anybody listens to this and you like to draw, especially comic books, let's get together and let's make a dumb comic for fun, because this is something I've been thinking. Like I'll lay in bed sometimes, I'll just like play this idea, and we're gonna talk with Woodland Empire about Dungeons and Dragons and how it kind of your imagination and how we don't use it enough. Well, I'm like 12 years old in that I'm always thinking of shit like this for some reason, and I wish I could put it to good use. And so I really would love to. I just think about this idea sometime. And it all started when I first came with the idea of beer superpowers, and then
Started with a dream.
it kind of goes from there. And so I've just been casually thinking of, oh, we can do this, oh, we can do that. So if anybody listens and you think this sounds like a decent idea, there's something there. Let's collaborate. Let's work on
Let's
this. I've
stop,
kind of
collaborate, and listen.
yeah. Who knows?
Sorry.
Who knows?
I like it.
I kind of want to do this because I'm on this earth for a certain period of time, and why not have fun with it? You never know where it can go. Don't let your dreams be dreams, as Shia LaBeouf once said.
And we're gonna have to Baker Act him soon for his depression about the football game. So we got to
I'm
do this
really
soon.
sad because my sports teams continuously lose to Tampa Bay teams. The Bruins lose to Tampa all the fucking time in the playoffs. Tampa Bay Lightning, they won the fucking Stanley
Nobody
Cup.
gives a shit. That's ridiculous because nobody gives a shit about hockey down here that
Nobody
I
gives a
know
shit
of.
about hockey in Florida, and nobody cared about the
Right.
Buccaneers until Tom Brady got there. But all of a sudden, and
That's
don't
not
get me
true. The
started. Don't.
Buccaneers, I have
No.
friends that are big Bucks fans. Tim's a big Bucks fan. Okay, so let's move on to news. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo.
Oh, we haven't gotten to the news yet. Let's talk about news. And do you like mac and cheese? Do you like Kraft mac and cheese more specifically?
Does anybody not like mac and cheese?
Okay, well, good news. Have you been looking for that romantic dinner for your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend? Well, guess what? Kraft has just the thing for you. They're coming out with pink mac and cheese that tastes just like candy for Valentine's Day. Nothing
That's
says,
disgusting.
let's get together and get real freaky nasty, real cheesy, like pink
Then color
candy
real
tasted
cheesy.
mac and cheese. I don't know why they thought this was a good
Oh my
idea,
god.
but apparently they did.
Okay, I feel like this shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. So Kraft mac and cheese is actually a product of shit. What was it? It's a brewery.
It's not shit. That's for sure.
No, it's not shit. I can't remember. Prohibition gave us Kraft mac and cheese.
Prohibition gave us Kraft
That's
mac
all
and
I
cheese,
remember.
huh? All right. Well,
Yeah,
well,
it's in one of my beer schools from this past summer.
what
Let's move on. I don't want to eat
brewery?
candy mac and cheese.
Why not? My kids would probably be all over that shit.
I'd have to
They probably
find
would.
my
Um,
All right, so
yeah,
move
I
on.
don't I
Moving
don't
on.
find anything about this. You're gonna have to look it up and let us know because I don't see anything about this. Moving on though, there's a live action Harry Potter show that's in the very early stages in the works at HBO Max. There's no details, no writer, no anybody attached to it because it's such the early stages that it hasn't even been born yet. And I almost wish they would just redo the movies in a TV show setting. That's how I feel.
Here you go, real quick. When prohibition took effect, and PBR couldn't make beer, they made cheese, and
Of course they did. They're from fucking Wisconsin.
exactly, and that led to Kraft mac and cheese, which they then sold when they
What?
could make beer
Who
again.
said PBR didn't bring good things in the world?
And now I remember because my mom, or what? No, not my mom. I think my mom does too. Melon Mushroom, their beer cheese dip, which is
Oh,
delicious, is made with PBR.
look at that. That's
But for
crazy.
more fun beer facts,
That's
head on
crazy.
over to hopsnews.beer for
Subscribe to
all my
Hops
past beer
News.
schools.
The Hoppy Mommy will take you to school.
Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
Ooh,
Okay.
you know what else is going to take us to school? Not Black Widow because it's never going to come out because they have no plans to bring it to theaters or not
What
Disney
the
Plus.
fuck?
But the good news is its runtime's 2 hours and 13 minutes. The bad news is nobody's going to see it in the years
Like, how is that good news
2000.
or bad news? It's moot. It's like a cow's opinion.
They're going to keep kicking this can down the road. Movie theaters are dying. We're never going to see this movie. Black Widow's been dead. The body's
This is so not fair. We've been
Black
asking for
Widow
this
is
for years. We finally
deteriorating
get
in the
it.
ground. And I don't know why they don't just put it on Disney Plus. At this point, it's been over a year. Cut your fucking losses. And
Mulan that shit. Charge for it. I don't care.
people will buy it. People will buy it. Look, their HBO Max is showing that their subscriptions went up to like 37 million subscriptions at $14 a pop. And they exploded after Wonder Woman released. Like Wonder Woman
Even though it was terrible.
It was awful, but people bought subscriptions. So there's something there, right?
Right. And like we kept our subscription because they intend on releasing more movies. And they're
Well,
movies that we wouldn't have paid to see in the theater too, that we will gladly pay to watch on the TV.
speaking of movies that you probably wouldn't pay to see in theaters, but I will give them all my fucking money. Godzilla versus Kong. How you
And
feeling?
that's going to be on HBO Max.
It will be on HBO Max. And we got a trailer. Did you watch the trailer? Of course you didn't.
I didn't. I didn't even see the last movie with Loki.
Oh,
I saw the one with
Skull Island is legitimately good.
I did see the one before that, the one with the guy from Early Edition.
How you gonna leave Captain Marvel out? She's in that too.
I just haven't gotten around to seeing it. I know.
Look,
and so
it's
is
a good
Samuel
movie.
L. Jackson,
We
isn't
got
he?
the
Isn't it like
Monster
all
Universe.
Marvel characters?
Yeah, and it's a great movie. I love Godzilla. I love
Is Samuel L. Jackson in that one?
Yeah, he is. He's played. Yeah,
Okay.
Him, Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson. They're all in it together. They're on Kong. It takes place in the Vietnam era.
So is this connected to the one coming out?
Yes. All right. So they're a shared monsters universe. 2014 brought us Godzilla, which Quicksilver, Pietro, he was in that movie.
Pietro. Wait, which one? The one from the MCU?
Yes, the one from the MCU. He's in that movie. And then you have Godzilla, King of Monsters, which came out in 2018. That has King God, I always mispronounce the name. King Ghidorah. I always mispronounce the name. I apologize. Yell at me later. But there's a bunch of monsters.
These damn movies are there?
Mothra's in it, all that stuff. Well, Kong. Now it's
there's reference to that in Supernatural. Okay.
Godzilla versus Kong. So Kong was a baby in Skull Island, and now basically in the trailer, the government has kidnapped him. Godzilla's on a rampage now. And so they're going to fight. It's Batman v Superman with a better script.
Well, if it's Batman v Superman, you're not selling me on that. No.
And save Mothra. And so they're fighting each other. But the big theory is that you get Mecha Godzilla, which I have seen all the movies. Mecha Godzilla is just basically a robot Godzilla. And so the theory, which I feel like it's actually not much of a theory, it's more of a proven fact, is going to be that they're going to duke it out a little bit, and then they're going to fight Mecha Godzilla, and it's going to be great. And we have a shared monsters universe. This time, 11 from Stranger Things is in the movie, along with the bad girl from Iron Man 3. He hooks up with her at the party in the beginning of the movie, and then she's like the bad guy.
Oh yeah, but she wasn't really evil. She seemed more manipulated.
She was
a scientist that researched the plants and the growing stuff back. Yeah.
Well, she's in this movie too, and I think there's a couple other big name actors, but they get Godzilla and Kong. Kong's trying to beat Godzilla down because he's going crazy. He's just destroying shit for the sake of destroying shit. It's gonna be great. I am so excited. So excited. I am so excited. I can't wait for this movie. What else can I wait for? I know you haven't watched.
That's what I didn't know who Mothra was, but in Supernatural they said when you've got Godzilla and Mothra on your ass, you best get out of the way and let them fight.
She's a giant moth,
and they're referring to angels and demons.
Her and Godzilla totally bang.
Giant moth. Interesting.
Yes, and Lord of the Rings. I know you don't care for Lord of the Rings.
My cousin was actually giving me shit yesterday. She's like, I heard on your podcast you haven't seen Lord of the Rings. You need to see Lord of the Rings. So I'm gonna try.
The show is gonna be about the return of Sauron. He is the big bad.
Wait, you skip.
I'm gonna.
Are you gonna skip that other news?
I'm getting to that other news. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just getting excited.
Hold your horses. Okay, you just.
All right, continue with your Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is amazing. There's one ring to rule them all, and now Sauron's returning because this takes place like back when we first destroyed the ring. So we're gonna get to hopefully see that. Now for the news that Hoppy's interested in. I can't imagine
I'll tell
why.
you why in a minute, though.
Paul Bettany, he's Vision, he's Jarvis. He's in a little show called WandaVision right now. He Joss Whedon really wanted Paul Bettany to Vision to have a penis in his birth scene in Age of Ultron. I don't know
So
why
when
that
he
was so
jumped
important.
up out of the table,
When he jumps up by the table, Joss Whedon really wanted him to have a penis. Probably because to go inside with the fact that Joss Whedon is in fact a giant dick. I don't know. There's no correlation there, but that's what I imagine. Fucking
so
weird. That's weird. That's weird.
today I was listening to Hop Heroes, and they were talking about WandaVision, and one of them asked, "Does Vision have a dick?"
Well,
Because they were
yeah,
talking about
he can create his own
the
stuff.
children.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is
First
still in
of
the air.
all, yeah,
Does
if
he?
Vision doesn't have a dick, like, isn't he like, whoa, how did you get pregnant? Those are my kids. And then you
Well, that's
start
a
a
whole other thing that we can talk
whole.
about at the end, but I think it's all her
But
creations
yeah,
anyways. So
Vision can make clothes, so why can't he make a penis? Right?
yeah.
It makes sense. He's
Well,
robotic,
and the
but
Mind Stone brought him alive, so why can't it create more life?
yeah, like look, Vision's trying to get out there and get
He
that
has a
booty.
vision for his future.
Look, he's just trying to get that booty. All right. The man is trapped in an alternate reality and he's dead. He's just trying to get some of that ass. What news do you have
Spoilers.
though?
The
Speaking of,
Walking Dead is coming back
no, it shouldn't. Let's let
February
it die.
February 28th for 6 new episodes. They need to at least finish the comic book though, and I think that's where they're going to end.
Ooh.
And for those that have read the comic books, we are meeting the stormtroopers of the Commonwealth. Well, we did meet them in the very last scene of the last episode.
Is Lord Vader coming?
So it should, emphasis on should, be interesting as to how they do this on this show, since their main characters at this point in the comic are not going to be in those episodes. And I don't know if I should do spoil. Well, I feel like at this point,
Spoil it. Nobody watches Walking Dead anyway. It
well, everybody
sucks.
knows Rick left the show because Rick's making a movie. So obviously
Rick.
he can't be dead,
Can't
but he's not
protect
in the
Rick.
show. But in the I don't want to ruin it, because anybody who's still reading the comics, they're very much so worth reading. And there's a whole thing in the Commonwealth that, like, I remember reading this and being like, holy shit. Like, there were many holy shit moments when I was reading the comics. And one of them took place in more than one of them took place in Commonwealth. But neither of those holy shit moments can happen because the
I'm
characters
from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
are either dead or gone. And I'll leave it at that. You're not from the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Okay. Read a fucking book.
Oh, the state that invented America?
And Massachusetts invented America.
All right. So Jim Gaffigan has been cast as Mr. Shmee in the live action Peter Pan.
Oh, wait, we're redoing Peter Pan again?
Captain Hook. Yeah. If you listen to Hops Geek News, I've mentioned it before.
If I listen to Hops Geek News, I record the episodes. I don't remember this though.
All right.
Oh God,
Jungle
I don't listen
Cruise
to my own
is
show.
getting rehauled. Jungle Cruise is getting rehauled at both Disneys, so it's not so racist.
They already filmed Jungle Cruise. It's with The Rock and Emily Blunt.
Right. So that's why they're actually rehauling the rides. They're trying to make everything less racist at Disney.
There's a ride. That's right. Oh, because Walt Disney was a very racist, anti-Semitic man.
But they're doing it now. The rides aren't going to have anything to do with the movie, but they're rehauling them now. So when they become popular again because of the movie, it's already redone. For anybody who doesn't like, I appreciate the Jungle Cruise because it is just full of dad jokes and puns, and I very much so appreciate that. That was redundant, dad jokes and puns.
One and the same.
And then they actually, for anybody who hasn't been to one of the Disneys in a while at Christmas time, they redo it at Christmas and call it Jingle Cruise. And they have a whole new group of puns, and they wrap them all up with a boa. Get it? Because there's a snake and it's a boa.
Ha ha ha.
Okay, my last piece of news is actually going to take us into Woodland Empire Volume 2, because we talk about the brewery, and then we go a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons. So Dungeons and Dragons, they have made it a little more wheelchair accessible. And while this may seem silly to do, because it's like you obviously don't need to have it wheelchair accessible. Right, but they're doing it so that people who maybe are in a wheelchair can actually see themselves being represented in the game.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
So, yeah.
I fucks with it.
Right. But yeah, if there's any
Anyways,
subject you want to be kept up to date on, we are happy to do that research as far as the news.
let us
Um,
know. With
and
that,
you don't want to look that shit up and you want us to look it up, let us know. But yeah, I only look up the stuff I'm interested in or the things I randomly come across. So
I respect it. Well, after this ad, we have Woodland Empire. So I hope you all enjoy listening to us
after
ramble
these
about a lot of
messages.
great things. So stay tuned for after these messages.
Hello, come and listen to Grand Rapidians play video games.
My name is Willie. I'm the original Cooking Mama World Champion, and even though I've had close to 5,000 different brews, I always keep hams in the fridge.
I'm Ginger. I'm the inaugural Tetris DS world record setter, and you can usually hear me eye roll at Willie's introductions.
Every week, we review a beverage, we talk about a game we've played, we recommend something like a podcast, and we assign points for real-life experience.
Come and listen to Grand Rapidians play video games.
Found wherever you listen to quality podcasts.
Hey guys, we are here with the dynamic duo from Woodland Empire, Rob and Keely, and we've had them on before. You might have seen, and it was so much fun. They decided to join us again, and so we really appreciate you guys coming back. How are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, doing all right.
Yeah,
Thanks for having
good.
us.
Thank you.
Of course, it's always a great time. Always a great time, and I think Lauren and I are actually drinking the same beer tonight, which happens once in a while. I made sure to get this one out because I picked this one up over Thanksgiving, and it was wicked good. Pecan, however you say it, one of my favorite beers.
Well, this would be a great Thanksgiving beer,
Yeah,
with
that's-
pecan pie.
I brewed it.
Ah.
And so if you're on YouTube, oh gosh, there's a glare. Isn't life just sweet? It's a stout brewed with pecans, molasses, vanilla, and cinnamon, and it was a delicious Thanksgiving beer. And I had some left over, and it was amazing. So thank you for putting that out into the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it has one of those fun Spotify codes on it. And whoever is not watching on YouTube, I'll definitely make sure to post it on the Instagram so you can see the
Always.
awesome can art and that Spotify code, which you can scan. And it, what song does it play?
So each of those are named after a song. So the song that plays is called "Isn't Life Just Sweet?" It's by British punk band Leatherface.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them too. I will say ever since I can't believe it took me so long to realize too that these beers were like Spotify, after our conversation. So I went through all the cans I had and I started playing the playlist. And
Start
my
scanning
kids
them.
were in the back of the car. They're sitting there, they're jamming along to it. And so, it was a good time. I enjoy it because especially I'm perpetually stuck in the year 2008. So I listen to a bunch of like emo music, My Chemical Romance, like all that stuff. That's what I listen to. And so I always get stuck like, what do I want to listen to that's not this? And so I will throw on these playlists and I'm like, yes, that's the mood. Captures my mood perfectly. And
What's funny is we all often put on because last time I had the Not Into Yoga beer and we talked about the song Escape, and so I'll sometimes put on the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, and it's like a compromise. My kids love it, I love it, my mom loves it. It's like it's great for the whole family.
It's a good soundtrack.
It's a totally
Yeah,
It is.
it's a fantastic one, and your beer pairs great with it.
true. My kids like that one from that soundtrack. It's the David Hasselhoff one. It's like really upbeat. I just picture him like riding a unicorn for some reason when I hear it, but it's just David Hasselhoff one off the soundtrack. My kids love that one for some reason.
I don't remember what song it is, but yeah, Hasselhoff.
I don't either.
It's like I'll have to post it. I know what it is. I'm not gonna butcher it here, but what are you guys drinking? I saw you guys pull up some beers. What do you guys got in your glasses tonight?
We're drinking our 7-year anniversary mixtape IPA.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
Big
happy
news.
anniversary.
It's the 7-year anniversary.
7 years, yeah.
It's a weird one this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet. Oh, because last year you got to have a proper anniversary. It was before everything hit the fan.
It was like the last party, and then everything just fell apart.
Yeah, so we were like, January's rolling around. We're like, what do? You can't have a party.
Right.
It's not like a big rollout. We're behind on production, so we'll just release some shit and tell people.
Look at us. Yeah, you guys have. So you've been releasing like a new beer every week late for this month, haven't you? It's been kind of rolling out like a reoccurring kind of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a few small batch releases just for the tap room. But yeah, and then we named them after like track 7s of different albums.
In honor of the 7th year, yeah. So each one is the 7th track off.
Oh, that's actually really clever. See, you guys are way smarter than I could ever hope to be, because it seems like really obvious to do, and I'm that person that sits there and then
That's how I feel. I don't feel like it's smart at all.
I'll be sitting there and then like
So
my wife will say something. I'm like, is that really what that means? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, are you? This is embarrassing. So that's pretty smart. So instead of doing a proper anniversary, yeah, you guys have been rolling out the beers, and I gotta say, I've been in the tap room a few times, never really got to sit down fully and enjoy a beer, just because anytime I come down to Boise, I got the kids. And so the wife and I, we finally got to sit down in the tap room, which is what I've been dying to do, and enjoyed a beer. And so she had the Turn Up the Beats, which I got to Hoppy because you mentioned getting that to her. She would enjoy it. And that, it's my wife's favorite beer. We bought a bunch of cans, and that's been her favorite like go-to beer right now. It's amazing.
Oh, awesome.
That was a lot
Really good. I mean, it's like a nice light lager, but it has a lot of flavor to it too. And I noticed when we were on air, I was drinking it, and I saw that the proceeds go to benefit the Tree Fort Live Music Relief Fund. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's Tree Fort Music Fest, the big local music festival here, and it brings in bands from all over the world, but it's huge for the local economy and really big for local bands specifically. And so the Live Music Relief Fund specifically benefits local Boise music bands that aren't able to perform right now, that kind of usually live off of that income somewhat, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The Live Music Relief Fund, all that money goes to local artists, which is pretty sweet.
God, are you guys allowed to have live bands in the breweries right now in Idaho? Because I know in Florida you can.
In Idaho, I guess you can kind of do whatever you want, but
I was gonna say, are there rules here right now?
We're not. We're keeping everything pretty buttoned up and safe, and still kind of keeping all of our tables are spread out, and seating capacity is reduced by about 50%, and we're not doing any events or anything.
And that's good, because I'm not going to name anybody, but there are breweries that I've seen that are, pretty much having, I'm changing my background real quick because I forgot to do this already, but they're they're doing live music and things like that. I'm like, guys, it's if you do that, people show up, and then you don't get to have customers because you're gonna have to close down, because who knows, with somebody catches COVID there or something like that. So it is nice. And I am sitting in your brewery tonight, by the way.
Thank you. We've had so far 0 COVID cases on our staff, 0 COVID cases with our customers. So
hey, it's working.
That's awesome.
And don't break what, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And it's working out. And hopefully with the vaccines rolling out, we can all kind of get together here soon. And maybe for the 8th anniversary, big party. 8's my favorite number. So that one, and or who knows, maybe this summer we'll all get together, but it is rolling along. And I gotta say, I can't remember his name. I have to give a shout out to, he was working the bar that day. Oh gosh. Yes. He hooked me up because I saw the big sticky, and I was like, every time I see it, I'm like, I still want to get that tattoo. I just haven't been able to have time yet. And so he gave me one of the labels that didn't get slapped on the beer. So I have a label of that, and he was super, super friendly. So you guys, your staff there, just want to say shout out to them, because you guys got like some of the best staff around, and always a like, friendly vibe when you go in there.
Sweet. Good. Yeah, that's what we're going for. And I'm really glad to hear that, because that's definitely what we aim for. We think we got some pretty cool people. Christian is a friend of mine. I grew up in El Paso, Texas, and I know Christian from, I was like 15, pushing 40 now. So we've been friends for 25 years, and he moved up here to work at the brewery.
Oh man.
So he's our upper manager.
Well, that's a hell of a friend.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Boise.
He came from Texas.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. Like man, that I can't even, because I never thought Idaho existed till I got here. So I can't imagine moving from like Texas to Idaho and being like, all right, yeah, let's do this. And that's great. That's great.
It's always
People
terrible when you do that math though with your high school friends. You're like, we've been friends for what? Oh my God, over 2 decades.
I know.
Yeah.
It's very humbling.
Yeah.
Half our lives, and you're like, oh God, half our lives. That's like 120. Like,
It is weird to know that my closest friends I've known for way more than half my life. Yeah, because we're just so old now. All our kids are friends, and our kids have been friends for 15 years. It's just weird.
But that's great, because that's what you grow up talking about with some of your friends, and it's great to have some of those friends because you don't always stay connected to people for that long, and it's easy,
Yeah.
especially you guys moved to Idaho. You're not originally kind of from this area, so it's great to still be connected with people like that, and especially now more than ever in times where everyone feels so disconnected because you can't get together, you can't travel, and to have somebody like that. And yeah, he was a great dude, really friendly, and really enjoyed talking to him. So
now you have the label to bring to the tattoo parlor.
yes, I've been trying to. We're looking at Born Weird and going there because my wife that likes one of the artists there, Jordan. So hopefully soon.
Sweet.
I've been doing more tattoos anyways. I know, Rob, have you got all yours here, or have you got them spread out? Because is there a place that's better than the other? Because I've got a bunch, but I haven't gotten any here yet.
We've gotten a few here. We are pretty partial to Black Cat Tattoo. Shout out to Erin Ruiz, our artist over at Black Cat. She's super awesome and does killer art.
Ooh, color.
Keely and I got these tattoos.
Is that a hamburger? That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, now I gotta show you mine then.
Those are the exact kind of tattoos I like to get and stuff. That is amazing.
It's a hamburger and a
This is awesome. Is it holding like a knife or a sword?
Yes, well, they're in battle. It was like a battle scene that our son drew when he was like 5 or something.
Yeah.
And it was Lord Hamburger and King Hot Dog, and they had all of their little minions, and so yeah, I don't know. And she's a great artist, and she also loves doing like food tattoos and like really silly stuff. So
that is awesome. Yeah. That's good to know, because I'm gonna get like a hiking SpongeBob on one of my legs, just because like I love SpongeBob. He's stupid. He's just an idiot. I've always loved SpongeBob, and of course he came out when I was like 9 years old, so that's what, like 9 or something like that. And I love to hike, so I've always I just love this picture of hiking SpongeBob. I've got a singing bass, so the tattoos that you know, like the hamburger, hot dog, and battle, those are the kind of tattoos that I like to get. So that's good to know that she does really good work like that, because that's right up my alleyway. So I'm gonna have to give them a check out.
Yeah, she's awesome. Her art's super great. We got these for our 13th wedding anniversary this past October. So,
What day in October?
27th.
I was gonna say if it's the 5th. I was gonna say if it's the 15th. That's the best things happen on October 15th.
That's
my birthday.
Yeah.
Well,
I like how you asked that. What day in November or October?
I do feel bad. I'm sorry. That came off a little aggressive. Wow, you're right.
It came off very aggressive.
I'm very sorry.
We're out of here.
Sorry, this got really weird. He's asking us our anniversary. Next thing you know, it's like, what's your credit card number? It's getting weird, man.
It's the last 4 of your social.
My birthday is October 31st, so.
Oh, really? See, look at that. The best things. October. It's the best month. That is my favorite month. So there you go.
I had a kid in that month. Can I be part of this club?
Hey, I did too.
Okay. Oh, that's true. Yeah, our daughters actually have the same birthday.
Yes.
It's very random.
Look, we're all connected. We're making great connections. That's what we're doing here.
All right. So obviously we follow you guys on the Instagram, and I got to say, you not just doing the small batches for your anniversary, but I've seen that the mixtape T-shirts are absolutely adorable. I love the actual cassette tapes on them. Those are super cute. Do you guys have? Was released for the anniversary, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you release any other merchandise? You're just doing the small batches and the shirts?
Just the shirts, yeah. Keely did the art for it, and we have our own screen printing setups. We print them in-house ourselves.
And you can only buy at the actual brewery, correct?
Yeah, right now we'll probably release them online too on our website. But I just did a small batch real quick for anniversary.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, well, let me go to the shop. And it was like batches. It must have been stuff from your bottle shop. Like you could get certain collections of certain beers and stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, your bottle shop too. You guys got a lot of good selection in there. So do you have is it a full on bottle shop connected to the brewery? Because unlike MASH, I don't have the privilege of getting to
Right.
well, since I'm thousands and thousands of miles away.
Literally other side of the country.
Yeah.
Twice the other side.
Yeah, Central Florida. I'm almost as far as I can get from you guys.
I mean, we have 3 coolers. It's not like huge or anything. If you were to look right behind Matt's head in that corner, you can see the coolers. In there.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So we used to have pinball machines there. We had like 6 pinball machines there, and then when the pandemic hit and the shutdown, we got rid of the pinball because there's no safe way to let.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Play pinball, and it took up so much space too that with reduced seating, we couldn't spread stuff out. And then we're like, man, we have all this open space, and we're not getting half the customers we used to because of the pandemic. So we were just trying to think of ways we could pivot and bring people in and have another revenue stream. So we thought, why not do a bottle shop? So we've talked about doing it for a long time, but
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of other breweries around the country that have done it before us. So that's kind of where we got the idea.
It seems like it's pretty going well because like you guys have a lot of really great selections that there's a lot of different beers in there that you can get at your guys' brewery versus any of the other places that you go around town. And I like anytime I stop there, I'm always like, oh, good bottle shop. And there's there's always a bunch I pick up, stuff from you guys, and I'm like, oh, I haven't tried this beer, I haven't tried that beer.
Yeah.
So have you guys kind of seen that? Yeah, that's what you're going for perfectly.
Yeah. And it's fun for us too. I think it keeps us excited and the staff excited because, for one, it's more sales, but it's also stuff that we're excited about because it's pretty, as you said, it's like a pretty curated selection. We're not just bringing anything in. It's stuff that we're excited about or stuff that we think is like weird and cool and or stuff, even like just some beers that we love from like the old days that we think are really great and want to.
From the old days?
Yeah. Just
what's a beer from the old days? Because I'm about you guys' age, so.
Yeah, stuff that we used to drink when we were, first getting into craft beer, stuff that really like set us off on the path that we're on now, Like West Mall Triple, it's not like in today's standards, it's no frills, it's just like a Belgian triple, but to me, it's like one of the greatest beers in the world. And, so we carry stuff like that in addition to the, Nightmare Brewing Company beers with 18 different fruits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw so Nightmare, that's new out here, right? Because I just recently, I haven't seen Nightmare out here before. I've always saw them on like Tavor and everything like that. But now I noticed like,
one of the distributors carries stuff from 12% out of, I think they're like Stamford, Mass. And it's a brewery, but they're also like an importer. Mm-hmm. And so they get a bunch of beer from a bunch of other breweries like Half-Hearted and I don't remember. There's a bunch of people they carry, but they all like send their beer there and then they package it up and they'll send out lists to distributors of what you can get. So you can buy small amounts of these breweries from one place, basically.
So you guys basically, that's how it works as a bottle shop. Then you don't get told kind of, you guys have to carry this. You get a list, like a catalog almost. And let's carry this. Let's carry that. Oh, okay.
That's
I didn't actually know that.
A lot of it is like hounding the distributors every week. Be like, what do you have that's new? What's moving? What are people excited about? Do you have this in yet? Why is this still out of stock?
Yeah.
I want this.
I need this. Where is it? Sorry, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Well, you better fix that real quick.
I feel like I'd be drinking half my inventory.
I feel like that's like dangerous. I'll try some of this, I'll try some of that, but hey, that's why I don't own a business.
Yeah, it gets a little dangerous. When we first put everything in, our staff was like, "Oh no, that's where all my money's gonna go." But
you don't even pay your employees anymore; they just take beer home.
They get paid in beer.
Your daily allotment.
All right. Well, actually, it's funny you say that because Ben and Jerry's. They're from Vermont and I've gone up there so many times to their factory, and their workers who work at the factory get 3 pints of ice cream every night. It's like walk out with like 3 because they make so much and there's a lot of like rejects. that they
They
can't
said they don't
sell.
always take all of it though.
Yeah, so they're able to take 3 pints a night, and I'm like, I'd be the fattest person on earth, just 3 pints.
No, that's just what I was thinking.
It's
I'd
just
be like,
dangerous.
Of course, none of them can get health insurance.
Yeah, sorry, no health insurance, but hey, you get 3 free pints of ice cream a night. So that is,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that you get sick of it too. Like it loses its like luster, you know.
Oh,
Especially
yeah.
if you're in the factory smelling like sour milk and stuff, and you're like, oh fucking.
Oh god,
Yeah,
like
I'd get sick of ice cream, but I wouldn't get sick of different beers. That's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when we like can our beers, we always end up with like low fills or high fills, and those sit back there, and they're up for grabs, and those sit back there forever. Like everyone's just like,
Really?
I've had it. I don't want any more beer.
Yeah.
It's kind of the unglamorous side of actually working there is like, yeah, I've had it. I don't need it anymore. Whereas, you know, somebody who's across the other side of the bar is, oh, I would totally do that every night. But then you're actually in that situation.
Uh-huh.
And then you have cirrhosis of the liver.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah. And so I would assume then, yes, opening a bottle shop's probably done a lot too for the brewery, because people come in, see your bottle shop, and then they're like, oh, you actually have your own beer. Let me try this or that. And
totally. We got a lot of flack for it in the beginning from a lot of people because, you know,
Wow.
it's registered with a lot of people. We
Mhm.
had a few people actually kind of mad about it and stopped carrying our beer.
Really?
And then we got a lot of like, why would you carry other people's beer? I was like, well, it's money.
Especially in times like this, like, hey, we can't have max people in a bar right now, you know?
Yeah,
That's
I think-
interesting though, because a lot of breweries here carry other breweries' beer on tap.
See, and it's
Exactly.
just not common in Idaho, but it's common kind of everywhere else. I mean, years ago we did guest taps, and everyone's like, "Why would you have other people's beer on tap?" And I was like, "Because it's good, and I want to share it with people."
Huh, that is interesting. Yeah, I have a lot of questions
That is,
now. Go ahead,
that,
Matt.
that actually, no, I've always kind of wondered this, and it's not like, hey, we're not going to point fingers at breweries or whatever, but
Totally.
I guess I have noticed that coming from, you know, across the country, all that stuff, a lot of breweries, yeah, they do kind of sell each other's like, I got this on tap, or whereas here I have noticed there's more of a, I don't know if disconnected is the right word. Or
disconnected is a good word. I mean, there's a handful of breweries that are pretty open and friendly with each other here, but I think that's kind of the thing to us that's weird because, you know, we came from like the Austin beer scene, and all the breweries that were pretty open with each other in the same way. And here, yeah, no one wants everything. It's just really competitive in a strange way. I think because it's a smaller town, people have a little bit more of like a competitive streak, and so they don't like. I don't know. People think it's weird if you would carry each other's beer. That you're just like, why would you eat into your own sales?
Wow.
That makes no sense, because if it's a smaller town, you'd think that you'd want to get, you know, your beer out there more so, and like swapping. I don't know. I guess that's just me. I'm always all about, I guess my life philosophy is always helping people out. So
when I was laughing about it too, it's like if you wanted to go down that competitive road, you go, I'll buy your keg for $150, and then I'm going to turn around and make 3 times that on it. So I'm making more than you did off of your beer. Ha ha.
There you go.
That blows my mind. I felt like there'd be a lot more, hey, let's help each other out because we are in Idaho. One of the like more isolated.
They're an Idaho Brewers Guild or anything there? Like, did they?
I will say, I mean, there's like a lot of camaraderie and a lot of help in a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of like ingredient sharing and a lot of friendliness and stuff like that. It's just the sales of beer is the part where it's competitive. So it's not like there's bad blood or animosity. I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
because that's always one of the things that's unique to craft beer is it seems like people don't treat their competitors as competitors. It's like, well, the more people we expose to craft beer, the more people are drinking it and visiting all of us. Because like even when the pandemic first hit, like one of the breweries ran out of cans, and a bunch of the other breweries were like, here, have some cans. And then I remember, when you said the ingredient sharing, I was like, oh, okay. But like I remember I had a Tactical Brewing shirt on at Rock Pit Brewing, and the head brewer was giving us, it was like a girl's pint out of it, and the head brewer was giving us a tour of the place, and he goes, you have a Tactical shirt on. I love those guys.
Yes.
And it was like, they're technically a direct competitor. It's a brewery 15 minutes away, but yeah, I mean, they host events together, and we have the Orlando Ale Trail where you get the stamps at all the breweries, and then you get a growler. And Do you have anything like that in Boise where you get like an ale trail map?
We did. I don't know if that's around anymore.
There's been various iterations over the years, but it never really seems to stick.
Yeah, I know there's like the Boise like brewing buddies, which is kind of like that in a way, but yeah, I don't think there's anything that like there's no bus that takes you kind of around and like charts you to different breweries, which that'd be fun to do because right downtown where you guys are, there's a lot of different places kind of all in that area. And I don't know why for a second there I was picturing like what's that?
Mad Swede just opened up a spot downtown too.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
they're
Mad
a big one,
Swede.
aren't they? I feel like I've never had their beer, but I feel like I've seen them somewhat frequently. Maybe we just follow them on our joint Instagram and I just didn't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty. I know there's a couple places like Western Collective, I think, is opening up another place. But for a second there, I was picturing in my head, like from Anchorman, where like all the different, news anchors all meet up in downtown
And they
just
fight.
battle it out. For a second there, I was like, oh God, is that what's happening? This is the craft beer world that they don't want you to see in Boise.
They have like the mashed paddles and like, I don't know, boiling wort, and they're just attacking each other.
Rob killed a guy. You should probably lay low for a little bit.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah. No, but for us, it's fun to carry other stuff because it mixes it up. I think it keeps it exciting for the customers too. Definitely when we first started doing it, you could see that customers were kind of like hesitant to buy stuff that wasn't ours.
I always feel like they got to throw your can in the mix. It's like we are helping you out.
I wonder if they thought they were like insulting you, like, oh, I don't want to buy that.
But really, you're like, no,
you're
you're helping us out too by just buying any of these beers. Don't worry, it's fine.
Right.
I'm trying to sell that.
Yeah, like, there's a reason why you're buying it here in this brewery from this cooler.
Yeah. It's been fun, I mean, partly seeing like what people are buying, what stuff is moving, what stuff isn't out of the bottle shop helps us kind of with or we're like, oh, we should make something like that. That seems like people are getting that. We should.
I was going to ask if that has any impact on the beers that you guys kind of brew. Is like, okay, so people are liking this style more so right now. Okay, we can do some of that recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you get a better idea in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely made us think like, well, maybe we should try doing a couple small batches of that, see if that goes over well, if we could do a good version of something. It has felt nice though that like even though we have the to-go stuff, the other products, that our stuff is still selling really well too. Mm-hmm. So that's made us feel good.
Yeah, it's funny when you run the report at the end of the week, you're like, oh, our stuff is still just selling like our stuff would, and then there's extra stuff.
Yeah, nice. And the extra's like all gravy. And you guys have a lot of different. What I like too is there's a lot of different variety. So if you want a porter, you can get a porter. If you, I had like the fruit punch in 2020 in the face. Yeah, that was good. So like, I know you guys have a bunch, and that's kind of what I like best is the variety. You don't get sick of just this one certain style, because there are certain breweries that are like, oh, we're just going to make, your traditional IPAs, this, that, and the other. But you guys get a lot of really fun with it, I guess is the word. Is your beers are a lot of fun, especially through the art that you guys do and the recipes. So it kind of don't get tired of it because there's such a different variety, I feel.
Totally. Yeah, we try to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So are we talking Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh yes. We gotta get educated real quick. We do, because it kept coming up. Dungeons and Dragons, ever since we chatted to you guys, it seems it's one of those things like when I buy a car, everybody's got that same car, and now it's like, oh, I love D&D. I'm like, I've played it, but I've realized I don't know too much, and I think they're making a movie on it too.
Like way back in the 80s when I was like a real little kid. I grew up Mormon, and I remember my friend's dad coming in. We were playing like the computer game version, and his dad like lost his shit, and that was the end of that. So it wasn't even enough for me to like really learn it. It was like during the Satanic Panic, and I didn't play again until 5 or so years ago. So Christian, the guy that you met, and some of our other friends, one of our old brewers who's brewing in Minnesota now, and a couple other people that we knew from the brewery, were getting a D&D game going and asked if I wanted to play. And so I started playing with them. And it was the first time I really played like the pen and paper, like tabletop version.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just always play in the back of the brewery, like in the production area. So we would just meet there and every other week and play a game of D&D. And, you know, they were asking me, I was kind of like, yeah, I'll play D&D. This sounds stupid, you know?
Nerds.
It's fucking fun. It's like really fun. And I'm not that kind of a nerd, you know? I'm more of a geek than a nerd, you know? Like,
yes, I get you.
There is a
difference.
difference.
Yeah, there is.
Outcasts with expertise, and geeks are just outcasts. You know, so nerds are like actually smart people. But you know,
like pocket protectors.
Yeah, no. I mean they're actually smart.
Like Screech. Yeah.
But D&D gets like mischaracterized, I think, as this like thing for these like, you know, in your
virgins.
Mom's things.
You're in your mom's basement, you know, not doing much.
Yeah. Like Stranger Things.
Well, see, I think Stranger Things, like, I think really popularized it into the zeitgeist, and I think that's kind of what got a lot of people playing it again. But the thing that's fun about D&D is that it's really just group storytelling exercise. So it's kind of like it can be a mystery, it can be an adventure, it can be just like talking. So most of the game you're just spending like talking and strategizing and stuff. I mean, you roll dice to like find outcomes so that there's like chance, and you know, you can't really rig the game. So it's you can't really be good or bad at D&D is a thing, because it all comes down to the dice roll. You can come up with great ideas and you can come up with terrible ideas, but it comes down to like the roll of the dice. Because I've seen plenty of times where someone's like, this is the stupidest fucking idea in the world. And then they roll a high score on their dice and it's like, well, I guess we're doing that. That works. So it's super fun. A lot of it is just, I mean, you're just hanging out with your friends and creating a world and a story together. So I started playing a game with Keely and our two sons. We haven't played in a while, which is my fault, but I run the game, and then her and our two boys play. And so I'm like the dungeon master of that game. But we're just coming up with
dungeon master.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because as the dungeon master, you get to create the world, essentially. You create the story kind of in a way.
Yeah, you kind of create the, you know, they call it like a sandbox. And so you kind of create the like place that it gets played inside of, but whatever happens in there is up to the imaginations of the players. And you just kind of like set the parameters of them kind of like.
It's actually, it's probably like really good for all ages. Like I'm just thinking, because, you know, like I said, I've never played, I don't really know, but you're talking about using your imagination, and that's something that a lot of grown-ups stop doing. And that's something that, you know, lack of brain activity actually contributes to dementia and Alzheimer's and all sorts of things.
It's funny playing with our kids because they're like so much better at it than Keely or I are, because they're kids and they have like really
no filter. Yeah.
I never in a million years would have thought to do that. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You're sitting there like, God damn, that's amazing.
Yeah, they're not afraid. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with my son, I think, is kind of get into that, because he, you know, he's 5 and he plays kind of sports right now, but he has such a love for the geek culture already. Obviously, being me, it's like we love superheroes, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like that's something
a lot
that
of pre-made campaigns you can find too, so you don't really have to do a lot of work. You can just kind of like, it's kind of built for you, and you can just run the campaign, so it's a lot easier. That's what we did for our first one.
Well, I did do a little bit of research on it to do some, you know, I don't want to come into this completely blind, even though I feel like it's one of those things that I probably won't fully understand until I actually play it, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've kind of gathered. But in 2017, it was actually their largest year in sales. And they credit it to, like you said, like pop culture with Stranger Things. And there have been some celebrities that have actually played with their friends for amusement and put it online. Well, and Felicia Day, I don't know if you know who she is.
I know
she's Charlie.
Yeah.
She's Charlie from Supernatural. I always tease Matt because I pull everything back to Supernatural. I'm trying to convince him to watch it.
I haven't watched it yet.
But for those who want to dip their toes in it, I guess there is a starter pack you can get. And there's even a Stranger Things starter pack. And from what I've read, all you need is a PDF of the rules, which you can get for free because the creators or the owners don't want to inhibit anybody from trying it.
Yep.
And all you need is pencil, paper, and a set of dice, which apparently Etsy has a bunch. So you can get any kind of different
Etsy
dice.
has
I guess
everything.
people
Haven't you
collect
learned?
dice.
Totally. I mean, like you use like a D20, like 20-sided die, a 12-sided die,
That's a lot of
8-sided
sided.
die, a 6-sided die, and a 4-sided die. It's kind of like the set.
Yeah, the 20 you said is a lot of sided. Yeah, the 20. If you roll a 20, that's like spot on. That's money. But you roll a 1, you're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
But okay, so who comes up with what each number means though? So if you have a 20-sided die, I mean, how does that, and you roll and you get a 4.
20-sided die for outcome. So you can say that you want to do anything as a player. So you can say, I'm going to go talk to this guy and convince him to give me his pants. And then so the DM says, all right, well, you have to roll for it. And so you roll based on a certain skill set. So on your paper, you've got points allocated to different skills, like persuasion, for example, or charisma. So you can say like, roll persuasion to persuade this guy to give you his pants. If you roll, like a 10 or higher is considered good, and the closer to 20, the more likely the outcome is.
Okay.
So if you roll a 13, you might be getting this guy's pants. It might take a little bit more like verbal persuasion, but if you roll a 5, he's going to be like, why the fuck would I give you my pants?
Like, no, you're not getting that.
So the goal of Dungeons and Dragons is to get somebody's pants. I understand now.
Or their leg. Yes, that's
A whole
exactly.
lot.
If you take anything
That
away,
makes sense.
yes.
On the street, they just call it the pants game.
Pants game.
That's what the kids are calling it, the pants game.
What's funny is I know Europe, pants are underwear, so it's probably a little more risque in Europe or in England.
Another great pop culture one that gets lost that Keely turned me on to is the D&D episode in Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, yes, it's on Hulu now. I love that show.
I need to watch that. I got shit a couple episodes ago for not watching that.
That is like exactly what D&D is, because it's Daniel, what's his fucking name? Daniel Desario, played by
James Franco.
And he's like the hot cool kid in the school, the stoner cool kid. And he winds up playing D&D with his friend's little brother and his nerd friends. And it's a total mismatch of echelons and ages and all that, And
they're probably getting mad at him because he's trying to take somebody's pants.
No, but he doesn't want to play because he's too cool, and they persuade him to play, and he ends up having the time of his life. And that's, to me, like
It is. It is. I have played back when I spent nice 7 months of my life in Qatar. To pass the time, I mentioned this is we played D&D, but I was so tired because we were working like 14-hour days that I was like, all right, man, whatever. But I do remember being kind of fun because you use your imagination, which I can't just roll into work and use my imagination in that kind of sense. Like you said, 'cause we're adults, we have responsibilities, and it's so easy to get caught up in those responsibilities that it is kind of something that's freeing in a way. And I don't know. I'd have to, let me go find some friends, because I actually kind of think I'm going to have to get back into it.
Well, my daughter actually played. So my husband's never played, but his 2 older brothers used to play back in high school. They're older than him. I just said that. So his oldest actually coordinated like a Dungeons and Dragons game with a bunch of different people all over the country, and she was in her room for hours on this thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I mean, she tried to tell me a little bit about it, but again, I feel like I just need to play to learn. But yeah, they had a great time.
There's a lot of podcasts where people play D&D, and you're just kind of listening to their story. And there's also a bunch of like videos, like high profile, like games. Roll20 is one. A really fun podcast if you want to hear D&D played to me the way it should always be played, just like anarchy and hilarity, is it's called Dungeons and Daddies.
Oh, I think I've heard
This
this
just
one.
keeps sounding dirtier and dirtier.
Well,
You have a dungeon master, you're taking somebody's pants. Now there's
But,
daddies.
He's
In
my daddy.
Dungeons and Daddies, he's called the Daddy Master, and their byline is not a BDSM podcast. But the
Just
premise
gotta
of
get that out of the way.
The premise of that one is it's like 4 dads that are taking their kids to a soccer tournament in a Honda Odyssey, and they inadvertently go through a portal into the D&D medieval world, and they still have their cell phones in the Honda Odyssey, and there's these like hapless dads, and they lose their kids, and they have to like find their kids and get their kids back.
This is amazing. I'm sold.
That's hilarious.
I'm sold. I love stuff like this.
This is what happens when people that were born in the 80s have kids. and they have to drive Honda minivans around.
I've still refused to buy a van, but we're getting closer and closer. We don't need.
I do too, but we have a big ass, or we have an SUV.
I got a Traverse.
So.
I got a Chevy Traverse. That's as
we
far
recently
as
got a Toyota Sienna minivan, and at first I was like, I don't know about a minivan, and then the second we got in, I was like, oh fuck yeah, this thing.
There's
rules.
so much room.
See, I got the Toyota Highlander. I can't go full van. We have a boat, so we have to have 4-wheel drive. So that was our excuse.
Look at you.
Yeah. Well, our Toyota
we didn't have a choice.
It's all-wheel drive.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, my Traverse is all-wheel, but whatever. I don't need it yet. I haven't gotten a camper yet. I feel like that's the thing everybody does that I've noticed, at least in mountain home, is as soon as you get here, everybody's got a camper, and I'm not at that stage in life yet. I guess I don't know.
See, here they just get mildewy and too much moisture.
Everybody's got a camper on my street, and then there's just me, like, hey guys, I got a tent. What's up?
I have a tent.
So, but no, I feel like I want to play Dungeons and Dragons. This is a culture I'm gonna have to get more into, and definitely Hoppy. I feel like Hoppy, you would be out of place, but you'd get really into it.
I'd be out of place.
Well, because like you said, like you're just like, I don't know anything. Like I just feel like we're just.
No, I know nothing. I'm like Jon Snow. I don't even know if I have any friends that play. If they do, they haven't told me.
Yeah.
I don't hear, but I do have friends elsewhere that play.
I struck up a friendship with the teller at our bank not long ago because I overheard him talking to someone else in the bank about D&D.
That's how you have to do it, though.
And we started talking about D&D and became fast friends. And he would just do like mini, they're called like one-shot campaigns. So it's not like a multi-week story. It's just like tonight we're just going to do this. And so these are your characters, and everyone is in a cooking competition. So it's like an Iron Chef thing, and they all have to like role play and use their dice rolls for skill sets for cooking and do this like imaginary cooking competition. But stuff like that is just super fun. You can do kind
as long as it's imaginary cooking.
I'm glad I'm not. I love cooking. See, I love cooking. What is wrong with you?
I hate cooking.
I love to cook, and I'm glad I'm not the only one, because I'll be sitting in places, say like Starbucks over in Albertsons or something, and I'll hear somebody talking and I'll just, oh, you like this too? Hello. And just I have no filter. I'm just dumb. Like I said, I'll blurt out anything, and my wife would be like, oh my God, here we go. We need to get out of here right now. But there's
my
me
husband
like,
and I both
hey.
enjoy talking to strangers. We'll talk to anybody at a bar.
Yeah, no, I get that way. And my wife's like, oh my God, why are you doing this to me right now? And I'm like, hey, what's up, stranger who I've never seen on the street? I'll stop the car and be like, hey, I like this shirt that you have.
Stop the car.
I'll just
I
randomly
like the
start
color
a
of your
conversation.
minivan.
Hey, you got this shirt on? I really like it. Have you seen this? And then it just spirals from there. So I'm already that middle-aged dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how you make friends, folks. That's how you make friends when you're my age.
That's how you make friends when you're 5. Hey, I
I'm
like your shirt. Want to play?
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, but we will wrap it up here. We do have news to deliver, but I really appreciate you guys coming on. And again, this is the second time. It's always fun talking to you guys.
So I think in like a few months we need to actually play Dungeons and Dragons. It doesn't have to be recorded. Because I don't know how that's going to go, but
play some D&D. Once, if you ever come out this way, Hoppy, we'll have to do a one-shot D&D get together.
one day.
Yeah.
Idaho was never on my radar before. I need to get to Austin too. Like you were just talking about, that's on my beer to-do list for sure.
Austin's super cool.
Yeah. Idaho wasn't on my radar either, but here we are. And
but I mean, I never would have imagined I'd be drinking. Like somebody on, I don't know, Keely, if you're familiar, the Beer and Body Girls beer page.
No.
So you should check it out. It's on Facebook. It's called Beer and Body Craft Beer Girls. They're on Instagram. They're on Facebook.
Are you following?
They do. Well, they started the page as to promote like a healthy way of living, but still craft beer. And it was focused for women. So, but there's multiple pages for it. There's one about people just post pictures of dogs and beer. And then there's one that's like crafts where people just post, crafts, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be beer related. There's a health page, and then there's a main page, and then there's a page for each state. So somebody posted and there's a travel page as well. And so somebody posted in like one of the pages, hey, I'm going to Boise, where should I go? And I was like, well, actually, I know quite a few. And I mentioned you guys, and I mentioned Barbarian. And it's like, I haven't been to any of these places, but I've had more than one beer from multiple breweries. And Mash even sent me, I have the glass he's using. I should have used that. I have an Idaho beer glass, and I've never been to
Can't see
Idaho.
it. Oh no. Yeah. I sent
I can send that link to you on your Instagram, because it's, especially if you're in the industry, because a lot of times they'll even ask, somebody who's in the industry, like people will make a comment or have a question, and like people who are in the industry will get tagged and be like, hey, can you better explain, why there was all this yeast sediment in this specific beer? Should it have been there? Should it not have been there? And so there'll be actually like, scientific questions, as well as oh, I went to this brewery and this beer tasted off. What should I do? And people always tell you, go directly to the brewery. If you think there's an issue, don't leave a bad review, talk to them honestly. But it's just, it's nothing but positive reinforcement for other women in the industry and who are fans of the industry.
Oh, sweet.
So I almost feel bad that boys aren't allowed, but boys aren't allowed.
It's the E-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah, it's the She-Woman Man Haters Club.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, men do have plenty. It's fine. They'll be fine.
You are right.
Right.
You are right. There's enough. Plus, we'll just come in there and be dumb and add nothing to the conversation.
And then be like, oh, why aren't we allowed to be in here? Okay, you're gone.
Yeah, this is why. But before we let you guys go, is there anything that you want anybody to know? Where can we find you? Any good stuff like that?
I don't know.
We'll definitely see us promoting you guys on the Instagram, especially next week, because I'll post all the beers I've gotten in the last week from Matt.
Totally appreciate it. Yeah, you can find our stuff on Tavor sometimes. We got Ada County Stout coming out next month, which is our big heavy-duty barrel-aged barley imperial stout. Comes out once a year, so
I will be there for that one, no doubt.
And then we're doing another live music really fun beer in March.
Ooh.
Yeah, they need it extra right now.
Yeah. God, I miss concerts. What's a concert? God,
Yeah.
I miss shows. I miss shows, the live music. There's nothing like it.
And beer festivals. We actually had one in Orlando, but we did not go.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, beer fests are back here.
Wow.
Well, Idaho doesn't have any rules either. We're kind of just it's a wild west, as they say. But
it is.
Really appreciate you guys coming on, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys in person here soon. Stop by the brewery and say hey. So thanks again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
I always enjoy talking with Rob and Keely. That's who they were. Woodland Empire Brewing out of Boise, Idaho, celebrating their 7th anniversary. And before we go, we will chat real quick about WandaVision episode 3. We're behind because we record this, on Wednesday nights, and it comes out on
You've
Monday or
already
Tuesday.
seen 4.
So you've already seen episode 4. So we're a little bit behind. But with that said, this latest episode, Vision kind of starts to realize something is up, and Wanda is pregnant and goes too fast. And then Geraldine, who is Monica Rambeau,
Lieutenant Trouble.
Yes, she realizes something's not right. She kind of snaps out of it, and she's like, your brother. This is the first time that they've mentioned Quicksilver, Pietro, in the Age of Ultron events, essentially, since the Age of Ultron. They haven't mentioned him since. And so she's like, your brother, he was killed by Ultron. And that
was the first time I felt like you really broke into the MCU, that you really had any recognition, like, hey, this is still the MCU.
Yeah. And so she yeeted her straight out of the little town there, in which you find out that Sword is all outside there. They're trying to get into this whatever Wanda has built. And so it's a town. Everybody's trapped in the town, and they kind of realize what's going on, but they can't talk about it. And Vision's starting to realize
they seem scared to talk about it.
So there's something there at play. And so real quick, a lot of people, I guess, are kind of like the ratings are dropping for WandaVision for some reason. Basically, it's like, if it wasn't part of the MCU, the show sucks. Like, people are upset for some reason, I guess. I don't really get it. I enjoy the show for what it is. I
Hmm.
can sort of
I think
see-
some people aren't giving it the time of day. I think once more things come to fruition and you realize what's going on, I think then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, that was worth it." Because like for me though, I've been enjoying it. I was expecting something
Same here.
weird,
Yeah,
but
you get
it's
what
not.
it is.
Yeah, it's not in humans, which is honestly the only thing that's been
Awful.
truly garbage.
Garbage.
But I trust what they're doing. This is the first time other than Colson that they've taken actors off the big screen and put them on the small screen. And I trust that they know what they're doing, especially because we know we're going to see Wanda and Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely getting Doctor Strange. Just kind of leads into it. They were very upfront about the fact that they're like, "Hey, we're going to go through the decades of old TV shows," and it goes happy, happy, happy. Some people are like, it goes happy, 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 and then they breaks that, and they're kind of like dark and serious for a minute. I don't have a problem with that because it makes you realize that, like, oh yeah, this is all made up. It kind of breaks that barrier for you, and so I don't know. People are just kind of upset about it. It is what it is. I think that we should once the season wraps up, we should do like a full breakdown episode, which we'll probably do, and kind of go from there. But we're getting places. I think like
I
everything's
feel like
gonna
we're
go from there.
constantly learning more on it too. Things are constantly coming
Right.
out about the comics and the relation, and people are coming up with things. And I guess they're saying that the voice on the radio, Wanda, who is this, is actually Jimmy Woo
Oh,
from
really?
Ant-Man.
Huh. I didn't even.
The
That makes
cop.
sense. Yeah. Well, because he's a sword member, I guess, or
Yeah.
huh,
And for those, I didn't know what sword was, so I actually had to look that up.
the
So it's
space
Sentient
shield.
World Observation and Response Department. Yeah, it's Shield for space threats.
Yeah.
And Yo-Yo for anybody else who stuck around for Shield, Yo-Yo actually makes a reference and like a joke to what you guys don't have something like that for space, like talking about Shield, and
Jokes
well, they do.
on you. So that's where we're
Yeah.
at. Episode 4 will have been out, but we're gonna do a full probably dive in recap once the season wraps up because there's a lot to unpack. We're still learning a lot, and we'll go from there. Other than that, did we leave anything? Did we forget anything? We good?
No, I think we're good. Next week we're gonna have Micah back on from Tavern Geek, and we're gonna be talking about the best superhero ever.
Ooh.
I am Wolverine.
We are diving in. We're gonna do like a mini series on Wolverine and the X-Men. So Micah, who is like our unofficial third party
Because
member
he knows way more
host,
than we do.
yeah, he's gonna come back on. We're gonna talk with him. We're gonna drink beers. We're gonna talk X-Men and Wolverine, and we're gonna go from there. So if you've listened, appreciate it. Like I've said, subscribe and share us. That's how we're gonna grow. I know there's a million other podcasts like us out there, but
But we're the
it's
best.
all good fun.
We're the best at what we do, even though what we do best isn't very nice.
Exactly. And if you listen to this, I'm going and have any suggestions of breweries to hit up in Las Vegas, let me know because I'm going to hit up some breweries in Las Vegas.
Baby.
And I'm going to slap some of these Hops Geek news stickers around town.
Oh yeah. And if anybody wants one,
Let us know.
in my
Let
most
us know.
douchebaggiest voice, slide into those DMs.
I had my stickers. I don't know where I set them. So otherwise, I'd also be doing the same. So I will raise my beer. Cheers to everybody out there and have a great, fantastic week.
Cheers. Make good choices, everybody.
This has been a Hops News production. You can find Hops News on all your favorite podcasts and social media platforms at Hops News. Cheers.